Hey, Austin buyers and sellers. This is Liz King, and today I want to talk a little bit about how a listing agent can best serve their clients, specifically with regards to listing on market, off market, with a few changes that have just come up. So let's chat for a second about kind of what are the options, and then why you might choose one over the other. So first thing right now, as a seller, you can choose to simply put your property in the MLS. And that for sure gets you the widest visibility across the country, across the world. Your property will be seen by large quantities of people. And so, I think that historically, that was the advice that I was giving to clients. You want to get eyes on the property, put it in the MLS, and then it'll publish in all these different, online places besides the MLS. It'll go to Redfin, it'll go to Zillow, it'll go to Homes.com, all the places that buyers, where are buyers looking? They're looking online. When you list a property in the MLS, it starts a counter. How long has the property been marketed? And this is kind of where things get a little tricky because, so if a property has been on the market 0 to 30 days, okay, it's pretty fresh, it's pretty new. Your buyer maybe hasn't seen it yet. But when a property's been on the market for 100 days, 150 days, it starts to feel like a stale listing, and the days on market are absolutely factored into the offers that you get on homes. So if a property's been sitting for a long time and hasn't been snatched up, I guarantee that the buyers are going to offer less than they maybe would have. So days on market matters. So one of the strategies many sellers are using is that they're first listing on an off-market site, or 2 or 5. So there are all these different places that realtors have access, and real estate professionals, where we can list a property at whatever price point, and potentially market and show the property prior to going on the MLS. So a couple things on that. A lot of the realtor-only websites, they are subscription based, and so not every realtor has access to them, and they are not going to be seen by every possible buyer. However, a lot of the serious buyers who have started working with an agent might get a few of these properties sent to them as they're a good fit for their wish list. As a property is listed off market like that, it kind of gives the sellers an opportunity to try out a price point. Okay, let's try it at this price, see if that garners enough interest, see if we can get an off-market offer. This also doesn't count against your days on market if you do go to the MLS. So it allows sellers to see if this is the right price point, and it doesn't count against them. And so when a property hits the MLS, even if it's been marketed for a month off market, it feels like a fresh new property that buyers will be excited about. So listing in this way, in some ways, helps sellers potentially, kind of keep that value up, rather than having to do price drops to get new eyes on the property. And again, I just had this conversation with a potential seller last week where she said, should we talk about doing a private listing first? And in many cases, that might be the right avenue. So Zillow has entered the chat, and Zillow said, we will not allow listings that don't go right to the MLS within 24 hours to ever show up on our website unless they make a completely new listing agreement. And basically Zillow and Redfin are trying to make sure that quantity of properties are hitting their website, because Zillow relies on a large quantity of clicks and saves and favorites, and arguably Zillow and Redfin help to keep values up too, because they are absolutely places where people go to look at properties, to favorite properties, and things that are getting more favorites and saves on those platforms end up selling faster. So I'm not against any of these, but I just think it's really interesting that they are stepping in saying, and I quote, all buyers should see all listings. And so they want to make sure that they are getting a lot of properties to hit the MLS as quickly as possible. So this all makes me circle back to this notion of how can I best serve my clients. are they best served by being in this smaller environment where only a few people can see them? Is that getting them enough visibility? Is that getting them enough interest? Is that getting the highest possible value? Is it the way to maintain the highest possible value? Does this, cooperate enough with fair housing and making sure that there's not discrimination and making sure that people have access to properties? And, again, if my job is to serve clients well and making sure that I advise them appropriately, on the buying and on the selling side, how do I make sure that the data I have on the competition and all the other homes on the market is accurate if I don't have, the correct days on market, the correct, price changes over time? That won't be in the MLS anymore, because it would be, much of that would take place on the private marketing websites. So again, as we're trying to figure out how to serve our clients best, I think number one, we have to be able to communicate all these, different options effectively and let clients make the decision as to which strategy is preferred. And then also, I think that we need to be ready to pivot. If we aren't getting the attention that we need to make sure that clients are aware that, of the different options, so that they can absolutely get the highest possible value for their home. So if you need help figuring out how to get your home sold, I would be happy to assist.